I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
Level with us. Welcome back to Level with Us, where we play a game every week and discuss it with each other. And this week we're talking about WarioWare Get It Together. And before we can actually launch into our main discussion of the game, Marcus, you have to tell us what's happening.
Sure thing. WarioWare, highly anticipated sequel to Wario Who and Wario Why, is an exciting game. Now, this is a game with a lot of micro games in it, and the new aspects in this iteration are that you can interact with each mini game based on different characters, avatars, and also the entire thing, as far as I understand, is 2-player co-op. So those are the new additions to the tried and true Wario Garlic formula.
Yeah, I think the co-op was a big selling point for this game, and actually, I was more excited to play it on my own, but it turned out it was way more fun to do it with someone else. Usually my wife, but I also got to do it with you a bit, Marcus, which was great. Do you have much history with the series?
No, I played the Game Boy Advance version. Don't remember what it was called. It was like at a family reunion or something. I think for a birthday you once got me WarioWare DIY, which I had fun trying to create my own mini games. So yeah, I've had exposure to the series, and this very much, feels in line with those. The music, the aesthetic, the
weirdness.
Yeah, the elementary school humor. Yeah, all of that. It's like tweeze his armpit hairs.
Yeah, actually, for me too, my earliest memory is playing WarioWare Inc. on the GBA, which if I can ever find a copy, I will definitely pick one up. But the most experience I've had with the series beyond that is just a couple months ago, I picked up WarioWare Gold for the 3DS, which is like a compilation. It's like over 300 microgames from across the series, which at the end of the 3DS's life, it was like, why are we getting all these compilation games? Mario Party Top 100 and stuff like that. But the thing is, I didn't really play most of the WarioWare games, so when I finally dug into it, it was a lot of fun. Like, it felt completely new and fresh because I didn't really recognize any of the microgames in it. It felt all new. And I ended up really liking it. And I usually don't like casual party type game stuff, but there's something about microgames of only having a couple seconds to complete a level that's really infectious, I guess.
I like the concept of like, all right, we know that games are getting faster and faster and shorter. Let's just make it as short as possible for your attention span to like actually understand what's going on. It's like just distills these things so small that it gives you a lot of variety really quick. So it's fun.
So now we're talking about Get It Together, right? That's right, what we were supposed to be talking about. And it's fun. I don't think there's much else you can say about it.
Yeah, there is a story, but that's in some heavy quotations.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't bring up the story in the What's Happening segment, so I'm kind of glad you glossed over that.
I didn't gloss over it, I just straight up didn't mention it at all. Wario and his friends find themselves in a strange situation when all of them...
It's more I expected you to list every character. So Wario, joined by his friends Jimmy T, fan favorite 5-Volt.
Nope.
And Mona.
No thanks.
I actually forgot to mention at the beginning. I'll say it now. We're going to be talking about the whole game. So spoilers ahead, I guess. There's not really much to be spoiled on.
Here's a question for you. How do you think this game style holds up in the here and now? This is a game that existed before smartphones and apps and quick games that you buy for free and kind of burn through quickly. How do you think this type of game fits into today's game economy?
Well, I definitely think that local split screen co-op games are dying. It's all about online. If there is multiplayer, it's about online. It's usually competitive. There are casual stuff still. But Nintendo seems to be the one who wants to kind of stick to their guns, because this is what they're known for, right? Smash Bros. Is meant to be played locally. It really is. And as is Mario Kart and, Mario Party. I definitely still would have enjoyed it if I played it in single player. But yeah, no, I think it's an oddity almost, because I think no one else is really doing this kind of thing. A game that's built for co-op. And also WarioWare. WarioWare has had multiplayer modes in other things. Like, I think the Wii one let you pass the controller between each other for certain things and did some wacky stuff with that, but there's never really been simultaneous co-op, and I think it works really well. It's surprising to me that microgames didn't involve controlling a character most of the time. It feels like a natural evolution. So
sure.
Did that answer your question? Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. I think that the addition of characters makes the multiplayer possible. Like, it's kind of not possible if you're controlling different things or interacting in different ways just with the entire screen that you could have simultaneous multiplayer. I do think that this game is more meant to be multiplayer than single player. Obviously it's fine single player, but
it's a party game. Yeah,
I think it is more fun. I think the times that I played it with you felt more like I was experiencing what the game wanted me to experience. That being said, there were a couple of clunky micro games that were actually pretty difficult with our selected characters or with two people.
Well, I think that's by design. I think some characters are meant to struggle with certain microgames so that they each have their own strengths, and you have to think of a creative way of using them. But
sure.
The game does scale the microgames to however many people are playing. So the games are slightly harder if there's two people.
Right, yeah.
But speaking of the characters, did you have any favorites amongst the very diverse cast?
Yes. Yeah, happy to see some robot and alien representation in games. I found myself playing a lot with Mike, just because I preferred the characters where you can use the joystick to move all over the screen. Just because that more consistently is not a challenging character to use. But I conceptually liked 5-Volt. She's the mother who you can she's dreaming of herself, and then you can teleport to different areas. I thought that was a fun interaction method. And the same thing with, I think her name's Penny. She's the one who she goes the direction opposite of where you're shooting with her water tank.
She's really hard.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the reason that you get her later in the little campaign.
Yeah, I think she kind of has her own... I know a lot of microgames were reused with her, but I feel like they gave her own set of levels specifically for her, because I noticed there were certain microgames that required water that you could actually just use her water instead, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But... yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, those are some good picks. I think we're in the same boat here, because I have written down in my notes, I like the floaty shooty ones. So, Dribble and Spitz, I like Cat and Anna, I like Mike.
Oh, wait. You like Cat and Anna?
I do.
The hoppy ones?
Yeah, they hop, but you can shoot with them.
Yeah, but I found them really difficult to use. I don't think I ever picked them on purpose.
So you didn't like the characters that were always moving, like 9-Volt and Mona.
9-Volt and Mona were easier. It's just specifically the jumping ones. If there was ever one where it was avoid such and such, the thing is, when you shoot stuff with them, you don't affect their jump at all. They keep jumping at the same frequency.
That's true.
For 9-Volt, you can do his yo-yo and kind of slow yourself down.
Well, 9-Volt was by far the most... In fact, I looked up, you can see the stats. You can actually look up the stats, and my success rate was the lowest with... and my number of uses was the lowest with 9-Volt.
Interesting.
And my wife hated 9-Volt. She never picked 9-Volt because of how hard he was. I picked him a couple times because I wanted the challenge. I wanted to figure him out, but... no, even Cat and Anna, I liked it. I liked you still move, you can still control where you land. Even if the jumps are automated, I like being able to fire at will and jump around the screen. And then Mike and Red, and I liked Red dropping bombs. I thought that felt really good. But I actually also really liked Young Cricket, just because it felt like a platformer. It just felt intuitive to be able to run and jump. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in general, I kind of like the flying ones. And it seems we're not alone, because we got a comment on our last episode about WarioWare from Yokai Disorder, who said, when replaying levels in WarioWare get it together, the best characters to use are the ones you can control well in the air, such as Ashley Orbulon, and Mike.
Hey.
Thank you, Yokai Disorder. I think we definitely agree with that.
For sure.
So, what about micro games? Did you have any favorite micro games?
Yep. That's my star piece.
Oh, well, maybe we'll save that for later. Or maybe we can just do it right now. Let's get into star pieces. All right, this is Star Pieces, the part of the show where we talk about little details or cool things we liked in the game that we played this week. So, Marcus, the floor is yours.
This is probably very typical of me, you, and everyone, but I loved the Nintendo Classic minigames. It's just very fun to kind of see its little pastiches, its little, like, attempts to emulate these different games and to see what aspects they take from them. For example, you have this, like, Fire Emblem game where what you're doing is you're picking a dialogue box that either says, "You're disgusting," "You're terrible," or "You're breathtaking," or whatever. And you pick one, and then you like are basically flirting with someone across a tea time table. So, you know, it just kind of reminds you, it's like blasts from the past, but also it does like some fairly current-ish games, you know, from the last 5 years or so. I just found that fun.
Yeah, I think everyone looks forward to the Nintendo ones. And also, I think WarioWare's kind of been doing that. I think it's been a tradition with them, at least with 9-volt. Usually, if you do a 9-volt level, it's always going to be Nintendo games. But I think WarioWare's been doing that longer than anything else, like NES Remix or...
Oh, I forgot about NES Remix.
Yeah. My favorite Nintendo game by far was the Samus one, where you have to shoot the blocks and then escort her to one of the doors.
Why is that?
So that she can get out. Because I've been playing through the Metroid games recently, so it was pretty cool. But it also felt cool. It felt like there was multiple parts, like because you have to shoot the blocks and move her, but you can also just jump up there and push her off sometimes. I don't know. I just really liked it. It worked well. But I liked the modern stuff too. I mean, Breath of the Wild, hitting a block was super fun. That's great. I know this is Star Pieces, but did you have like a least favorite type of micro game? Because for me, it was anything with like a rotating wheel, whether that was the windmill or like a water faucet or whatever. Like for some reason, we always struggled with those.
Yeah.
Especially with two people, because sometimes we'd shoot in opposite directions, you know?
Yeah, exactly the same for me, especially for certain characters, the way that they interact with them. There's one where you wind up a dog, and the problem is you don't have enough time to both crank it and let it go, because you have to let go for it to get over there.
That one was devious. I don't think we ever beat that one.
I'll have to check the game. I might just not be quick on the draw, but
sure.
You got a star piece?
Yeah, well, my star piece is the boss fights. There's not many of them. There's only one or two, but I really liked them because you've grown really familiar with how these characters move, and so it just felt good to switch through each one of them and fight the boss and attack the eyeballs or the hands in a specific way because you know how to move with them. I don't know, just taking it outside the context of the micro games and using them to avoid attacks and to attack yourself, I just thought it felt pretty good. I kind of wish there was more of those.
Yeah. I believe one of the modes is like a free-for-all, like attacking between them, which is very interesting because it doesn't feel like the characters are meant to be, you know, like balanced fighting against each other. But
right.
It is kind of fun to realize that you kind of have a feel for like what each of them can do and stuff like that.
All right, well, we did star pieces. Now we got to go into quick jabs.
Jab, 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 jab. 1, 2, and jab, jab.
Well, for those of you who don't know, quick jabs is where we get to poke fun at the game because no matter how much we enjoy it, there's always something to complain about. So my quick jab is that the extra modes in this game are actually quite fun. That's not the quick jab.
Got him. Roasted.
No, the extra modes are actually really fun, but you don't unlock them until you beat the campaign. And granted, the campaign is very short. You can get through it pretty quickly and unlock all the extra modes. But the thing is, when we completed the campaign, my wife was kind of burnt out. Like, she didn't want to play anymore. So, I don't know. I feel like for party games, like, I was okay with unlocking the characters over time, but I kind of wish these modes were available from the get-go. Like, in Smash, like, every mode's available immediately. You don't have to unlock any modes in Smash except for, like, All-Star and some of the older ones, right? So I think for a party game, they should have had those available, even if the character selection was limited. That's my quick jab. Kind of wish the modes were available right away.
Yeah, I think it's because they want you to like burn or work through the content that like I don't know, kind of prove, like, we have so many micro games, and, like, make sure you're familiar with each of the types and how to do them. But I agree with you. I think that it would have been nicer if it was from the get-go. It doesn't feel like a party game to lock something behind. Even an hour or 2 hours of playtime feels like unnecessary for a party game.
Sure.
Well, for my quick jab, you said that this is our time to poke fun, but it's more for me like poking funds, because I think this game was too much money. For a game that is small, I wish it was less. This is kind of a general thing, you know, like, I don't know, just AAA Switch games, you know, have to be more money, but I feel like this one should fit more in the realm of $20. I know that that's probably underselling it, but, you know, just like more of an impulse buy, you know, like, oh, when you get a Switch, make sure that you get, you know, WarioWare. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Like, I mean, at least I'm glad it was 50 instead of 60. And Nintendo actually put out a survey to a bunch of people before this game was even announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did.
I forgot about that.
They sent it randomly to a bunch of Nintendo account members saying, would you buy a WarioWare game for $50? It's basically, they're like, can we sell it at this price point?
Can we do this? Like, are you gonna buy it? And they're like, yeah.
No, like, Nintendo's first parties are so strong. That's why people are still buying Switches, even though they're, you know, not super powerful compared to other consoles on the markets, because Nintendo has games that everyone wants, and Nintendo doesn't do price cuts very often. Mario Kart 8 is still $60, but it's still the best-selling game, and it sells tons and tons of copies every year still. So they know they can do it. But yeah, I for one wish they would do more $20 titles. You know, just I wish they were more like, hey, we're gonna do some smaller stuff. And that way we can, you know, test the waters and see if this needs a bigger full release kind of thing. And I agree. For a party game, it's kind of hard to swallow a big price tag, but I don't think it's too jabby to say that you'd like a game to be more affordably priced. But I guess that invites a whole discussion about how games are valued. But we don't got time for that because it's time for the Reaper Review. The Reaper Review is where Marcus and I try and stump each other with nerdy trivia questions about the game we played. Usually about the game we played.
Usually about the game we played.
No, well, mine this week is actually about Garlic.
That's not the name of the game. You changed the
I'm
rules
just kidding,
on me.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Jared, there are many characters in this game, but if you took all the characters together, how many volts would you have in all?
How many volts?
Uh-huh.
Well, there are 3 volt characters, but if you want me to add up the volts, then there would be 32.
That's correct.
Oh,
That's correct. Way to
Great.
do that addition in your head.
Well, I was wondering if you were gonna like say, "Oh, time's up."
No, you did it faster than I thought. There's something about adding the number 9 to 2-digit numbers that takes me an additional 5 seconds. So, good job.
Cool. Well, I actually was worried you were going to say my question. The way you started your question is exactly the same as mine. Marcus, there are many characters in this game. How many characters are there in this game?
Yeah, not a fan myself. Let's see. It's another one of the ones where I could try to count them up. I just don't think I'm gonna logic my way into this, so I'm gonna say 17.
You know what? That was very, very close. But no dice. 18 is the correct answer.
One away. Man, my intuition. It's killer.
But you know what? I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna say you got it because I think
I don't count Poro.
Yeah, exactly. I don't count Pyoro. That's true. I said WarioWare characters, and Pyoro canonically
is
not a
WarioWare
character.
Yeah,
that's right. He's from a different video game. So congratulations, Marcus. You got it right.
I was playing 4D chess.
Congrats.
Yeah, completely intentional. We're both winners. No, let's jump over to rabbit holes. It's fine.
This is the part of the show where we talk about whatever we want to talk about, whether that's something we've been interested in lately or some internet rabbit hole that we fell down recently. So, Marcus, what depths did you tumble down this week?
Here's a video I watched recently. I don't watch a ton of it, but task spot speed runs are fascinating.
Can you explain what that is to me? I've never heard of that.
TAS is TAS. It stands for Tool Assisted Speedrun. So this is when you have like a computer do an optimal speedrun that is so optimized that a human could not do it.
Wait, so is it like the computer has complete autonomy, or a person is still controlling them just with special help?
I haven't dug deep enough into this to know exactly the way of it, and maybe I can come back and report later. But my understanding of it is they are kind of like pre-programming what they want it to do. Like, imagine if they, they can slow down, scrub backwards, scrub forwards through the game, and they can like add inputs at very specific frames. So it's basically like, what if human fallibility was not a part of this at all? What if we just had a controller and we could input it perfectly at certain frames? How fast can we finish this game? So, for example, if you watch the Celeste TAS run, it is dizzying to see because
it's frame perfect.
Right, it's frame perfect
gliding
stuff
across the screen.
Exactly. And like humans can do that too. Like humans can do every single one of those tactics that it's doing, but not that reliably. Some things are so difficult to do that you can do it maybe once out of every, 100 times that you try it for like a very good speedrunner. So what TAS allows you to do is say, well, what if we could string together all of these perfect hacks and skips and stuff into one run? And then you get these like perfect spike bounces going into like very specific jumps. What I watched most recently was a TAS run of Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the top comments was, a full 20% of this run is just the TAS goofing off when the boss gives it downtime. So like it's literally so fast that a lot of the times it has to wait for the game to catch up. Like how a lot of the bosses, they'll like close their mouths for a second before they're ready to open them up again.
Sure.
So a lot of it is just like them showing off by having the TAS do like these crazy jumps and skips and like clipping into the floor while they're just waiting for the game to get to the next segment.
Cool. Well, speedruns by themselves are already pretty fascinating on their own. So that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me
I will link you to a few.
Yeah, well, while you're doing that, I'll link you to a few videos of something I've been watching lately, because the internet rabbit hole I fell down was the air fryer guy. Have you heard of the air fryer guy, Marcus?
No.
It's a guy who makes stuff in his air fryer that you wouldn't expect, but here's the twist. He sings as he does it. So that literally, that's it. It's a guy who puts stuff in his air fryer and he makes up little songs about it, which it sounds lame, but it's actually quite charming. And my wife and I ended up watching just dozens of these videos, and you're just seeing these beautiful pancakes come out of the air fryer one by one. And I don't know, maybe I'll play a clip real quick.
Pancakes are easier when you cook them in the air fryer.
But yeah, I don't know. It's simple and dumb, but I quite liked it. I kind of makes me want to try him. Like, he's literally, most of his recipes are dipping something you wouldn't expect into egg and breadcrumbs, and then just throwing it in, like a Subway sandwich, like from Subway, or sometimes even just a piece of bread and an egg on it, and a piece of bacon. And it always looks amazing. So it makes my air fryer is quite small, but I want to try some of them.
Yeah, that's a excellent case study in how niche internet communities and entertainment can get. Like,
oh yeah,
I want to watch someone who air fries stuff, but I don't just want a regular guy who's using an air fryer. I want a very specific guy who sings songs as he fries stuff in his air fryer.
Right. Well, when my wife was describing this channel to me, I got that vibe, because you could do that for a lot of people. It's like, oh, well, this person doesn't review games, but they do review what it's like to live with someone who plays games.
Yeah. There's a TikToker who just reviews bathroom sinks. There's an audience for almost everything.
Exactly. And you and I are both fascinated with hobbies, especially the niche ones. So that's pretty cool. So I think that'll do it for our show, though. Thank you all for joining us, as always. And next week, we're going to play a really cute and charming indie game called Toem, a Photo Adventure. So if you'd like to join us and play through it and send us some comments, we will happily read them on our show. But until then, I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
And we'll level with you next week. I really don't like immature, childish humor, but for some reason with Wario, it kind of works. It just kind of makes him even more endearing. Like, everyone likes it. Like, oh, he does farts in Smash Bros, but we don't care about that. It's Wario. We love him.
Oh, we love
guy.
him. Oh, we love that real goofball.
All right, Marcus, it's time for our vocal warm-ups. Ready? Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. You put what in your game?
Okay, maybe that's a little too much enthusiasm. Let's
Okay, tone it back.
a little bit. Okay.
They're just video games. Interesting thing, we have not to this point said that we are brothers.
I don't know. I feel like people listening can just instinctively tell that we're...
Jared, in the real world, siblings aren't friends like this. Only fictional siblings get along this well.
I guess I just didn't want to make that the selling point. Like, brothers, Jared and Marcus.
We're two brothers.
Hey, we're just a couple of brothers playing some video games.
Two brothers shooting the breeze. Yeah. Hey, join the Richardson bro... Oh, whoops. Boop.